Let's move into our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Patrick Williams. And Patrick Williams writes, I'm seeing various reports that Jamie Foxx is reprising his role as Electro in Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3. Now, could this simply mean Marvel really liked his version of Electro and they want him back? Or could it be we're taking our first steps into the live-action Spider-Verse? Either way, I find Electro a very odd choice for a character to bring back, especially after the not-so-great response to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. What are your thoughts on this? Keep up the great work and bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And, yeah. Under the category of what the holy hell, file this one. And this isn't coming because when I first saw people writing in, Rob, and saying, Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro, I thought, okay, yeah, let me go over to We Got This Covered because that's probably where this came from. That's the first
thing I thought too.
Is it, I mean, right? I mean, that's clearly the first thing you're going to think is that this comes from us, from We Got This Covered. That's where this is going to come from. So I go over and check out We Got This Covered. And lo and behold, oh, it didn't come from there. And you start looking around, and you're like, holy crap, this is actually coming from the Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter is writing this. Anyway, let's get to the story here. So here's what the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter had to say about this. They said the following: story details are being kept under the mask, but having Fox return is a stunner, as it shows a further melding of the previous Spider-Man movies into the current Holland series, which is the first one that has Marvel running point on production. Far From Home began that idea by bringing back J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, which got everybody excited, the character he played in the Tobey Maguire starring Spider-Man trilogy, a move that tickled audiences with glee. Indeed it did. And yes, going back into the main part here, the Hollywood Reporter is saying Jamie Foxx is in the final stages of sealing up his contract to reprise, and they're saying it's reprising as Electro. Rob, I never said, because I don't believe I was ever asked, I've never said before that there is no way that we would see Jamie Foxx come back as Electro. But I will tell you, had I been asked, John, do you think we'll ever see Jamie Foxx back as Electro? Oh, hell no. I mean, I didn't say that, but if I was put in the position, I totally would have. I totally would have said there is no way in hell will we ever get Jamie Foxx back as Electro. Now, listen, let me make it very clear. I think Jamie Foxx is a tremendous actor. I think he is a tremendous actor. And whether it's, I mean, it doesn't matter what you put him in. I don't care if it's a Horrible Bosses. I don't care if it's a Baby Driver. I don't care if it's an Array or something bigger like that. I love Jamie Foxx. I just think the dude is super talented. I just love watching him. But he might be the first person to tell you that his interpretation of Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 may not have been the best. Might not have been the best thing for him. Might not have been his best work. Might not have been his best day at the office. And so on top of all of that, you have the fact that, now I don't mind The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I did think it was a big step down from that. They killed it off. I have been asked, Rob, if I ever think that we were going to see Andrew Garfield pop up or see Tobey Maguire pop up. And I said, because I wasn't asked about Jamie Foxx, but I was asked about that. And what I've said before is, no, I really doubt that. That just gets a little bit gimmicky. That, like, to bring in Andrew Garfield now, which are totally different iterations, I just think that gets into the gimmicky. Not to mention Tobey Maguire is now what? He's in his mid-40s, approaching 50 at any rate.
Yeah, something like that.
But so I've said before, no, that's not going to happen. Well, guess what? While this report doesn't say anything about Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, guess what? If you bring back Jamie Foxx as Electro, all bets are off. All bets are off. I still don't expect to see Andrew Garfield pop up. I still don't expect to see Tobey Maguire. But that whole thing of, I just can't imagine that happening. Oh, that's gone. That's gone. I don't know what on earth they're going for. Now, Rob, I suppose there are a couple of options here on the table. Like, one option is, hey, it's just a totally new Electro, and it just happens to also being played by Jamie Foxx. That would be a strange choice, but I suppose it is an option that's on the table. Maybe that's the case. Unlikely, but maybe that's the case. Also, The Hollywood Reporter was not 100% sure. They did not say definitively and beyond question that Jamie Foxx is definitely playing Electro. They did not say that. They simply said that our sources tell us it'll be Electro. And maybe it's not. Maybe Jamie Foxx is just appearing in the new Spider-Man movie as somebody else. And there are some people just kind of making the assumption that it's going to be Electro. That's a possibility, but it is The Hollywood Reporter. The other most outrageous, crazy, I can't believe this is happening option is that, oh no, he's Electro, the one we know from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he's back. That is strange. And besides being strange, Rob, when you push back all the noise of how weird this is, it doesn't look like a good decision, because it's not only is it a carryover from a not beloved movie, it's also a carryover character that was pretty much universally disliked. Like, even people like me who didn't hate The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I thought that character was terrible. I thought it was terrible. And so even if you wanted to dip into that whole thing, why not get Melina to come back as Doc Ock? Why not go to some other direction if you want? So that seems strange. But Rob, there is so much WTF in the air about this. Like, this is bonkers. Like, this is, I never said he'd never come back as thing, but I would have said he was, if I was asked, I definitely would have said he was never going to be back as Electro. No way. No way. And I defy you to find anybody who really thought he would. I don't think you're going to find, there probably got to be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks say, oh yeah, I always thought he'd come back. Liars. No one thought he was going to come back as Electro. This is kind of crazy. So Rob, there's a million angles to this, but when you look at this, Rob, what is the first thing that stands out to you when you see this report coming out? Remember, this is not from Eddie's Fast Movie blog from the gas station.fart. This is the Hollywood Reporter that's put this out. Rob, what's your take on it?
I have a theory.
Hit me.
I have a theory about this, John. I think the Marvel movies, the MCU, is going to do something they haven't done before that harks back to the comic book legacy of, well, all comics, but especially Marvel comics. I think they're going to do a multi-film crossover. And it's going to have something to do with whatever the multiverse of madness is. We know that they've recently said it again in another report, that WandaVision somehow plays into the multiverse of madness and Doctor Strange.
Right.
I think that they're building up a multi-film, not Infinity War, where they're bringing, all the Avengers, but they're going to have something to do with the multiverse, probably because of the quantum realm or something to do with Doctor Strange, something. And this storyline is going to carry over to multiple movies. It's going to start in WandaVision. It's going to lead into Doctor Strange. And I think it's going to bleed over maybe into Thor: Love and Thunder, maybe into the third Spider-Man movie, maybe even beyond that. But I do think the idea of some kind of whatever's going on, whatever madness is happening in the multiverse, it's going to spill over into other Marvel movies. And it's going to be like a crossover event, like in the comics, like a summertime. In all of our annuals, we're going to have the evolutionary war, or something like that. And I think that's what they're doing.
Isn't there a cautionary tale here about, like, I remember even Schnepp used to hate this. Like, I remember it would drive me nuts back when I was like literally collecting the physical comic books every week, and I had the titles. It used to drive me nuts that a comic that I would read started a storyline, and then at the end it says, continues in Mr. Mukulbuku, issue number 45. It's like, wait a minute, I don't buy Mr. Mukulbuku. Why? Wait, so I got to go buy a comic I don't read to do it? Isn't, and isn't there a little bit of a cautionary tale for that? But oh man, I don't know. I mean, you could be right. What do you think?
Well, first of all, like, look, when I didn't read Mr. Mukubuku either, so I didn't like when I had to go buy that comic. But I mean, for the 30 years that I was buying comics every week, those crossover events, I mean, my shelves are full of them. And I think in a way, you know, if clearly audiences who like the MCU see all of the movies. And if they're doing something that involves a multiverse, I think it's kind of cool that they are doing this, because it's not like I'm not going to go see the next Spider-Man movie. Of course I am. And I'm going to buy well, maybe I'm not going to buy the Blu-ray because physical media will be dead, but I want to. And I think it's kind of cool if they announce as they lead up to this, it's going to be a secret. They hold their cards pretty close to the vest, but if they're going to do this, I think it's pretty cool because no one's done it before. Now, that's why, because Electro, I didn't like the portrayal of Electro, not because of Jamie Foxx. I love Jamie Foxx, but the way he was written, it was so goofy. You know, I think it didn't have verisimilitude compared to, say, the Lizard in Amazing Spider-Man, which I really liked.
Me too.
I just didn't like it. It seemed like Jamie Foxx's character was coming from a new movie, a different movie. They were like, the tone of his character was all over the place. It was more like Jim Carrey's Riddler in Batman Forever. And I didn't think it really worked with Spider-Man. But I think if they're bringing Jamie Foxx back, they know this. And I think they have plans for him. I don't know if it has something to do with the Sinister Six. I don't know. But it's crazy, John. It's crazy.
Well, that, of course, brings up the question that's going to be on everybody's mind. Is Paul Giamatti coming back as Rhino? That's all anybody wants. But no, but really, Rob, let me bring back to the question that has been raised before this Jamie Foxx news came out. We've seen this question come up on this show several times before. Do you think, because we've had a lot of, Rob, we've lost count of how many people have written and said, do you think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield can come back? Come on. No. Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro. What? Rob, let me get you to give me a percentage chance here. Give me a percentage chance. Actually, I'll set an over-under for you. 18%. 18.5% is the line. 18.5%. Higher chance that we see either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire now pop up, or lower than 18.5%. You're going to go over or under 18.5% that we could see either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire now pop up. What do you think? Now, in light of this Jamie Foxx news.
I'm going over. I'm going over because Sony, look, they've already made Into the Spider-Verse. Marvel's making Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I think we've seen the Quantum Realm now with different versions of the Ancient One. I think it's over. Because you know why? In this day and age, it's just cool. It's just a fun thing to do, and it's in the air, man. Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman. I think this is 2021 and 2022 is going to be the era of the multiverse across these big franchises, and I'm going to love every minute of it.
Okay, so look, you have to be a special kind of dumb to think Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire are coming back to Spider-Man. Is exactly what I would have said a month ago.
Yep.
I'm in the dumb club. I mean, look, I agree. I'm going to go over 18.5% too. And I can't believe if John Campea of June could see John Campea of October 2nd right now, he'd be spitting fits. But I'm telling you now, it's over 18.5%. I'm not going to say it's over 50. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to say it's likely that's going to happen. But I would have said, no way. We get either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire back. Not a chance. Way under 80. But today, I mean, like you said, it's not just the Jamie Foxx thing. You've also got, even though it's a completely different studio, you raise a great point, Rob. You also have to look at this a little bit through the lens of that we are now in a world where in DC, Ben Affleck is coming back. Something that we really would have thought. So you combine that with the fact that Jamie Foxx is Electro. And again, there is a possibility here it may not be for Electro. It might just be Jamie Foxx joining another Spider-Man movie, maybe as another character. We have to keep that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But accepting that it is for now, I don't know how you don't say that, yep, there's over at least, it's a small 18.5% chance. I don't know how you say it's under at this point.
I mean, they're giving Zack Snyder $70 million now to do reshoots, additional photography, pickups, whatever you want to call it, for a 4-hour Snyder Justice League. Now, you know, you and I both never thought that was going to happen because there was nobody around to pay for it. But when HBO Max, I even said on my show last November that now that HBO Max is in the mix, there's a place where a Snyder Cut could actually get paid for. And I never believed it was going to happen, really. I don't think you did either. But with an entity that could pay for it, then suddenly it was on the table. Now they're not only paying for it, they're paying for more photography. I mean, we live in this world now. Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are playing Batman again. We already had Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW where the Flash shows up. I mean, it's crazy.
Dude, where
John.
Lucifer showed up. Lucifer showed up.
All bets are off, man.
See, that's the thing. What is happening now? It seems is, look, there's always been things that even when seeming impossible, we say, hey, look, it's very unlikely, but things are possible. What we're seeing happening right now is the definition of what is possible is widening. It still doesn't necessarily make it likely, but the idea of what is possible becomes a wider, broader scope now of, I just shudder to think about what other things do maybe all of us thought, well, that'll never happen. That just might be on the books now. This is nuts.
William Shatner coming back as Kirk.
He'd do it.
Kirk that didn't die on Viridian 3 in Generations. He grew grew into an old age.
This is so significant. I decided to make this the topic of today's question of the day. And I simply asked you guys this question. I asked, regarding the Hollywood Reporter story, do you actually believe that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro in the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland? I gave you guys 3 options. Again, I put this up just about 20 minutes before the show started. A little over 3,300 of you guys have responded already. 55% of you are saying, yep, Jamie Foxx is back and he's Electro. 26% of you just don't believe the story at all, saying, no, Jamie Foxx is not going to be in this movie. 19% of you, though, I gave a third option that Foxx will be back, but he won't be playing Electro like it's a different character. 19% of you guys are saying that. So that's where that's at right now. By the way, this poll is up in the community tab of the YouTube channel, so you can go and find it there. So go on over there and cast your vote as well. But in the meantime, guys, just jump down into the comment section. This is seriously, I know the Ben Affleck coming back as Batman is more important, but I literally don't know, Rob. I honestly don't know right now which is the more surprising story, that Ben Affleck was back or that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro. One was beloved, one was universally disliked, and here we are. So, but question is, guys, what do you think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.